Not congressmen, but real people. And then they started, and when they started reading it, I started getting emails from my friends. I was home tending to 2 sick goats. I thought I was going to have a nice quiet August, and I was going to get these 2 goats back up on their feet. And I started getting emails from my friends. Dick, did you see what's on page 69 and 70? I believe that means we have to turn over not only all our medical records, but our financial records. Could this be true? So, remember, people, real people, probably people in this room said, Mom, we got to go. I see the congressman's having a town hall meeting. Let's go ask him. And so you all went to the town hall meeting. You say, Mr. Congressman, on page 69, he said, I don't know, I didn't read the bill. You're what? Now, these folks think you're an angry mob.
We are.
Here's the deal. How many of you are married? You know what I'm talking about. Let's say you come home and you tell your spouse, honey, I just bought this marvelous insurance plan for you and me and the kids and all the grandkids and for generations to come. And it's a great deal because we don't have to really worry about it because the kids and the grandkids are going to pay all the bills. And I didn't read it. Now, you think your wife's going to say, well, honey, you're such a dear. She's going to say, you dang fool, you bought an insurance plan and you didn't read it? So you go to the town hall meeting, your congressman says, I didn't read it. And what do you say? Same thing you would say to your spouse, the person on this earth you know and love the most of anybody in the earth, that person that you adore. You don't treat this congressman any different than you do your husband. You damn fool, what's the matter with you? And he says, look at that, I'm being confronted with an angry mob. People are unpatriotic. And so, again, now your ladies know better than the husbands. That's called being dismissive, right? Discounted. And it makes you mad. And so that's where the anger started coming. But what did Nancy Pelosi say? Don't mind those people.
Deer headlights.
They're just, what was she said? AstroTurf. They're not real. Again, discounting you. Now, we had the march in Washington. Anybody here get to Washington now? And, I don't know, they not quarrel about how many people they were there. There were more folks there than my last family reunion. And there were more folks there than any town hall meeting I ever called as a congressman. And they all got there on their own terms, on their own hoof, at their own expense, for their own purpose, to give their own message. Nobody was programmed, nobody was paid, nobody was put on a bus.
$14 on the Metro.
You just went because you had something to say, and what you had to say was, leave us alone.
Yeah.
Get responsible with your tax dollars and get yourself under control. And what did they say? Oh, that's not real. Now here's the deal. What we have in Washington today, more than at any time I have ever seen, are people who are greedy for their own power and control in the construction of their larger dominion of control over your life, and who have no understanding of the limits of big government. This is what I call the Dirty Harry principle. How many of you remember Dirty Harry? He said a man's got to know his limitations. They think they've discovered the money tree, and they think big government is without limitation. So big government can take over the economy. Armey's axiom. The politics of greed is always wrapped in the language of love. Now they're pretending to love your liver. And my line is very simple. You've got a responsibility for my liberty, not my liver. Leave me alone. I can take care of that myself. And so what they're saying is, we're going to, because we love you, we're going to take control of all of health care in America. I can tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, you may not believe this, but they're going to screw it up. Big government can screw up a bowling ball. They already have. Medicaid. By the way, I am covered, you're not going to believe this, ladies, but I am in Medicare. Not that I wanted to be, but they told me when I signed up with Social Security, if you don't sign up for Medicare, you don't get your Social Security. I said, where did that come from? It's not in the law, it's not in a regulation. It's in a policy memo they wrote. And so we sued them and we're winning the case. But the fact of the matter is, once they get a public option, they're going to find so many intimidations, punishments, coercions, fines, that you won't be able to say no. Because their purpose is not for your health care to be better. Their purpose is for them to be in control of it. And we need to understand that. Now, the other thing is, they're feigning a great love for the environment. I'm cracking up about this guy, Al Gore. You know, as a matter of fact, they were telling me the other day that there's no good science behind their stuff. But I said there's at least one good mathematical component to it. It's called an Al Gore rhythm. He's worried about the polar bear.
That's funny.
Last year, 8 polar bears died of old age or other natural causes. Maybe cancer. I don't know what causes polar bears to just die on their own terms. 56 polar bears were shot. Now, if Al Gore wants to save the polar bears, just pass a law that says you can't shoot polar bears.
You gotta have a permit.
You gotta have a permit, yeah. But at any rate, this cap and trade thing is another intrusion. They're pretending to love the environment, but they want control of the economy, and for what reason? 1, to enhance their own power, and 2, to engage in income redistribution. It's always about income redistribution with them in charge. So we got our big issues that we're facing right now in front of us. There are 3 big issues that are immediate. There's cap and trade, which is their effort to take control of the environment and industry, which will absolutely devastate the ability of the American economy to be competitive in world markets and do no good for the environment. You think the Chinese and the Indians are going to follow suit? Absolutely not. And then the health care bill, and then this thing that they really crack me up. Liberals, by the way, are funny people. Have you ever listened to them? I've lived with a firm belief. If you just buy them a dictionary, they'll get smarter. Because now they're saying they have to save the American working man and woman from the vagaries of a secret ballot. Can you imagine that? You know, you're from Virginia. Can you imagine how horrible it has been for the poor working men and women in America today to be laboring with secret ballots in the decision whether or not to unionize? Instead, they want them to be free to stand on their porch step in front of their wife and children with 3 or 4 union organizers and tell these guys, I'm not going to sign your card. Like a lot of fun that's going to be. Anyway, here's the deal. We freedom marchers, Tea Party activists, small government conservatives, individual liberty-loving individualists who only insist on our right to be our own person on our own terms as the Lord God made us. We are right now the biggest energetic force in America. And they are either trying to ignore us or betting we'll go away.
No way.
Now, in the final analysis, here's the deal. You're going to get that policy which those people in office want to give you. And unless they're more afraid of you than they are of Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama, they're going to vote with them. So you got to show up. And you've got to show up in Virginia right now. You've got a great opportunity. Because the Virginia governor's race, the Virginia Attorney General's race, all of the races you have in your House of Delegates, the race in New Jersey, we can send a message to Washington enough already.